Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're listening to the SANE Show, the show about nothing and everything. I'm your host, Cliff, and today I have with us the owner and CEO of B Lash, Brittany Wilson. How you doing?
I'm good. Cliff, finally made it.
Yeah, when I was putting this together, I was thinking because you were talking about you want to practice and try to be
Bro.
as best prepared as you could, and I hate we couldn't do that. But knowing you, I know you would be ready. So this is going to be a great one. I'm like I told you before the recording, I'm stupid excited, and I've been looking forward to this all day as we got closer to it, just thinking about it, like, man, like this is going to be dope. Like, because we always
Yeah.
have great conversations and everything.
Oh, for
So.
sure. Debate. We have to every time. Every time. Capricorns.
Yeah. You already know. That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, two Capricorns on the mic. This
Why?
isn't the
Why?
first time I've had there's been two Capricorns sitting across each other on the same show. So, this
Ooh,
is going to be another great episode. So I'm excited to jump into it. Today we're going to talk about wigs, hair pieces, eyelashes, nails, makeup, all the good stuff that that women use. I couldn't really think of a perfect name for the segment, so I just had to throw everything in there. And then following that, we're going to talk about the purpose of different social media platforms. After that, we're going to have an interview with Brittany so that everyone can learn a little bit about you and what you do and all the things that you have going on. So let's go ahead and hop right into it with the first topic: wigs, hair pieces, and eyelashes. We were briefly discussing this before the recording, and this is like I was saying earlier. These things have been around for a while now, and it seems that now is booming more than ever. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, and like it's like I
no,
told
you're
you, like
right. You're right. I feel like it's kind of like technology, like over time it's improved. It's come such a long way, like just to be, keep things simple like a cell phone, a flip phone versus the iPhone 10 that has three cameras. And it's
right,
like that's the beauty in it. You're right. Like it has just come so far and just
hmm
expanded the quality. You pay for what you want. So if you're able to charge more, supply and demand, you're gonna pay for what you want. They're able to
right,
put that back into quality, which of course leads to other things.
right. You're right about that, and especially being around you, and I'm hearing some of the conversations that you've had with some other people. Hearing the amount of money that people pay for these products, it's like,
Ooh, you trying to put $1 on it? Listen, I'm telling you, Cliff. I mean, you can attest to it. I change my hair very often.
right.
Um, I feel that my hair is a part of my personality. That might be
hmm
cheesy. Everybody has their same, their thing or perk about them. Like for you, that's cars. Like if only you could buy every car that you wanted. We've had that conversation too. But that's another story.
hmm
But I feel like it's an easy way where I feel good that I'm doing something for myself because self care is very important. Mental health, I'm an advocate for that. It's very important. So I feel like you have to find something that lets you take care of yourself. And now with women, I mean, you mentioned the price. It's just like jewelry. You could tell somebody who got a real chain versus a fake one. You can
Right,
tell somebody who's putting time, money, energy into themselves. So not only are you making yourself feel good? But when you feel good, well, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you do good. And
right,
so that's what motivates me, able to go to work or if I know I want to do something. Okay, I know I need to do this to be able to take care of myself. So it all leads back to motivation. But of course, you don't think about that from the smaller spectrum. And I feel like when you're not thinking big that way, you're gonna see somebody where I mean you can attest to it. You done seen somebody who probably spent $20 on a wig
yeah.
versus somebody who spent $200 on a wig. So that person who's spending $200, unless their priorities is messed up, I mean they got it in their mind of what they want to do, how they want to do it. and so forth. So
I agree. I agree. It's so funny because I have a girlfriend, and the more I'm around her, obviously, the more I learn. And I'll be honest, she's been educating me on this stuff. You
of
know,
course.
you know how women do be pointing out stuff like you see that ain't right over there. You see the edges and this, that, the third, and I'm like,
Hey, shout out to
okay.
Brittany. You know, we keep it together. Brittany.
So, it's like so because of that, I pay attention more. And
Right.
I I'll be honest. I'm looking now. I'm trying to see. Okay, what's going on here? Is this the wig? What the edge? Okay, and maybe I don't have. I'm not going to sit here and say I have the best eyes, but a lot of times I'm like, man, hey, it looks good. All right, I cannot tell. So you get a pass from me. But let me ask you this, because you operate in the space with your business, and I'm pretty sure you have a lot of women come up to you asking for your advice and wanting tips and things of that nature to, I guess, make improvements or whatever.
Right.
From what you've seen, I guess what's going on right now? What's going through people's minds?
So this I'm trying to think of how I want to answer this question. There's just so many ways, but just to start, I would say that with my business, I realized that people want different things. Everybody's choice is going to be different, right?
Hmm.
So, for example, hair. You have some people who are natural, some people who get perm, some people who do protective styles like wigs, braids, etc. Shout out to all the natural queens because I can't do it. I don't have the patience, nor education on what it takes to be natural. I'm more of a protective style wig type of person, braids, real hair every now and again, but I'm not natural. But as far as eyelashes, the same thing. You have some people who like simple, thin, that's their thing. You have some people who like long, thick, extreme lashes. I think the first thing from a business standpoint is being able to satisfy everybody. So with my brand, I have 3 different labels. They all differ in different ways, whether it's the hair, how it feels, the length, the thickness of the strip. I'm getting real detailed, but that's
Hmm.
important so that you can satisfy everybody. So I think from a wider standpoint, that's kind of, I guess, how it works in our mind. So it's not just like, guys, okay, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get these shoes. It's like it's more of a precise decision.
Okay. So it sounds like there's a lot of thought that goes into this.
Absolutely. I was thinking about that the other day because I was doing inventory. I've actually started a second business now to just kind of spin off, but just like a
Right.
t-shirt customs type of thing. I didn't want to take away from my business and my brand, but I also knew of other ways, and I'm a firm believer in a multi-stream income. So I knew I wanted to do other things, but focusing on Be Lashed, I was doing inventory and I'm like, wow, I have 30 different eyelashes right now. That's a lot. And I didn't think about it because packages are small. And so you don't really think about it. It's like, okay, you got a box, you got this. And like I said, I have 3 different brands. So packaging is different. My shipping, I do all of my shipping by myself because it's very important to cut costs, especially being a fairly new business. Almost to a year coming up.
Okay.
But
Clap it up for that.
right. But with that, I was just sitting thinking, and I'm like, wow, like I have a lot of different things. And so it's easy to get confused on certain things. And it's like you have to spend a lot more time on the accounting side, figuring out, okay, how much do I need to order? What am I going to make? Because some cost other more than others. And so you have to be aware of the market too and what your competition is charging because as a consumer, you want the best thing for the lowest price. So coming from sales, that's helped me out a lot too. But I actually have a anniversary sale coming up for the year, and I'm actually revamping everything. So the market constantly changes. So that's one thing in beauty that you have to be aware of. You don't want to order too much of one thing because next year it may not be in style. Like right now, just to be specific, I know all my ladies watching can agree that 25 lashes, they're like in right now. They're long, they're thick, they look very realistic, especially from a guy's standpoint. What used to be is like, okay, kind of just a thin lash. Well, now those lashes, they look like the mink lashes that like girls are actually paying $80 to $100 for.
Um,
So
wow.
you selling a strip, if you could get that, you would see it as a bargain. If okay, I could buy these for $15, but I know they're gonna look like I want them to. I'm just gonna have to take my time to put them on, but I'm gonna get the look I want to. So it's like
Understood.
you have to keep up with that because everything is changing. So that's important to know in beauty as well. So that's one thing that's kind of inspired that, out with the old and with the new, you have to be able to keep up with that. And then promotion is huge as well, like we discussed. I mean, people look at me and or other people, you look and you see something and like, oh, I like that, or I want to do that. So that's part of it too, taking a risk, using yourself. I mean, that's the easy and free promotion, keeping yourself
Hmm.
together, representing your brand, but also getting other people who people are looking at like, wow, I like her, or and just having them help you as well.
So let me ask you this here: what's the craze with eyelashes? I know I've mentioned this before the recording, and I wanted to save it because I didn't want to risk giving anything away. But what's the craze with eyelashes? And honestly, I'm gonna keep it a bean. It's weird to me. It honestly is, and it's interesting at the same time. And I guess I'm at a point now, especially having known you over the last year now.
A little
You
longer
know,
than that.
yeah, now, yeah, because we're in November. Um, but having being around you, knowing about your business, and hearing you talk about it, I guess I'm becoming more understanding of it. So just wanting to ask you, I never asked you, okay, what's this whole thing with women and eyelashes? So please help me
Oh,
understand.
okay. You know that feeling when you get a haircut, as soon as it's over, you got cleaned up, you done washed off the little excess hair, that feeling you get
Then
is
brush it.
right, right. That is probably the equivalent of what I can relate the eyelashes to. When, so sometimes, like, well, I'm not going to say sometimes, a lot of times, like, especially men, shout out to Bay. Hey, Bay. They you guys constantly want us to feel good the way that we are, and it's not that we don't, it's just like an enhancement. So I think that needs to be understood. Not every woman feels like they need it, they have to have it, but it's just you feel good. So when I first wake up, I feel like I'm beautiful. I look in the mirror, it's just kind of like okay, I'm cute. But when I wake my face up, enhance my eyebrows, my eyelashes, it's like, you know I put some effort into today. I didn't just get up out the bed, wash my face, and head out the door. Kind of like work, you decide just to dress up for no reason, or maybe you're gonna put a three-piece suit on today instead of a two. Like that
Yeah.
enhancement is a feeling of that. I feel like more specifically the eyelashes. I've actually tried, had to slow down wearing eyelashes just simply because the weather's changing, allergies. You
Hmm.
know how that goes. But it's also a refresher to just remember that you are naturally beautiful, because I feel like girls who wear them because they have to, it takes away from the fun in it. Like if you wake up like, oh, I got to put on my eyelashes, like you're not gonna do them right. You're not like you're gonna be upset. And people tell me all the time, like I should make videos, and that's kind of my next venture because they're really simple and people just don't realize it, or they're doing it in a way, that they probably shouldn't because they're frustrated or they really feel like
Hmm.
they need it and it's just not working the way they want to. So I feel like that's the first thing. But other than that, I mean, the most simplest reason, like it makes you feel good. It's just like a wake up. Of course, like a guy, it's gonna be
Yeah.
weird to you, but it's just kind of like guys with J's, or something. I don't know if I'm being corny or people still wave guys with J's, but like that feeling. Like I remember people used to take pictures with it up to their ear, or acting like they're licking the bottom or dead stock. Like it's like okay,
Yeah.
but you spent all this money on these shoes, and now you want to put it to your ear. Or like it's just like to girls, like I mean, me personally, I've never been a sneakerhead. I like sneakers, but I've never just been crazy over a specific kind. But my sister is like a serious sneakerhead, just being, I guess, a little sexist, but just using tennis shoes as an example, like
Yeah.
that feeling that y'all have, it's like, okay, you could go get some other shoes, but yeah, they're not like your J's, like that feeling. I think it's just kind of like a feminine versus a male thing, which some girls just don't prefer them at all. I
Hmm.
just think it's.
Yeah, I appreciate that because you made me think about as guys sometimes when we wonder why women do certain things and we expect this real complicated scientific explanation as to why, and it's just something simple as you just explained, and it's just one of you guys want to look good and feel good, and just like guys, so it's one of those things where women don't owe men or whoever an explanation for doing these kinds of things. So I appreciate you opening my mind about that. So now when I think about it, I'm gonna play this back and listen to it and be reminded, okay, it's not as deep as I thought it might have been. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go into the second topic, the purpose of different social media platforms. This has always been something I thought about and I constantly think about, especially because I'm on social media every day. It's something that we do and or something that we use all the time, especially advertising and communicating all this kind of stuff. So it's naturally something that we're not, it's hard to avoid, I guess. But anyway, to get right down to it, I've been thinking about recently, the different social media platforms and now defunct MySpace and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, Snapchat. And the thing that's really intrigued me over the last few years is how these, to me at least, it's looked like social media platforms just all just kind of been on the same level and all just kind of serve the same purpose. But over the last few years, they've really taken and gone a different path, different demographics, and really just kind of going into their own lane as far as what the platform is used for. To me, Facebook is more like news and informative, and people posting statuses and whatnot. And you gotta what my parents are on Facebook, and grandparents, aunties, and uncles, everybody on Facebook now. So it's kind of like you
Right.
ain't got a Facebook, you you really behind.
It's funny because we were just talking about that. Me and my sister, I believe it was, or maybe it was my god kid's mom, my best friend. But it's like I remember back like MySpace days, and we had like AOL Instant Messenger,
Right.
like stuff like that. And it was like that was just everybody you knew, like kids and stuff, like high school people, often people from different high schools. But it was your generation. You didn't have to worry about weird people, like older men trying to
Lure you
dig
in and
you
stuff.
or right,
Yeah.
right. It wasn't anything like that. Like I've seen some really strange things on Facebook. And so my point is now it's like I feel like okay, Facebook, that's my family, that's my church people.
Hmm.
I got my friends. Like I'm very careful about what I post. I mean, I post funny stuff. It's not like I'm faking who I am, but I
Yeah.
also know the audience that I have. So
Right.
something that might be funny or, inappropriate to me, I'm not going to share that or anything, but I might repost that on Instagram.
You
Um
ever,
Instagram.
you ever see something on Facebook and you'll send it to somebody via private message?
Right.
Like,
You have
I'm not gonna
to.
share it, but
You
I want.
have to. Like, I'm not going to share this and my pastor follow me. No, thank you. You know? So,
Yeah.
and my friends are very aware. Like, don't share and tag me to where it posts on my timeline.
Right.
That's not because some stuff I see on Facebook, I'm like, dog, what are
Right.
you doing?
Right.
It's some crazy stuff. But I feel like Instagram is more of like my peers, like college friends, some high
Yeah.
school friends, a couple elementary. I mean, but just like those like kind of younger people, so you kind of see more stuff that than
Yeah.
you would see like on Facebook. But Snapchat, I mean, that's 24 hours. So you
Yeah.
just never know. That's not even with me. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
generally, but like that would be more of like, okay, I'm going out for a drink and I want
Right.
to laugh or whatever. You know how girls, hey, that
Right.
might be my time I do that. But I feel like each social media platform serves a different purpose. And
It
I feel
does.
like, with Snapchat, people understand that and they recognize it. So it's more of an accepted behavior. Like if you see a girl kind of doing a little cute twerk, or,
Yeah.
like maybe she's taking shots or whatever. It's like, okay, she had a good night. My life is together. This is going to disappear in 24 hours. I mean, nothing truly disappears off the internet. So be careful. Just, from like a fun standpoint, I feel like it's very relaxed, non-judgmental, but also my businesses are on Instagram. So I carry myself, of course, still with respect and sense, but people, they look at who they support. And I think it's very important from a business standpoint to separate yourself as far as a personal standpoint from your business. Because the
Right.
reality is like Super Scent, everybody, I'm sure a lot of people heard about my girl Super. She gives a lot of good advice. She's the makeup collection owner who basically made $1 million in 90 minutes, I believe.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
We ain't talking about
It's
Kylie Jenner, are we?
No, no, she's black, Super Scent. I'm gonna need you to look up Super. But she has the crayon case, and she just started with the idea to have a makeup line. She's just grown over time. Like famous people are wearing it. I mean, she did a sale and made $1 million in 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half. So,
Wow.
she just talks about it, but it's like it's important on social media to separate yourself because it might be somebody who like your product, but they don't like you. That's important too. And also, if you are going to sell eyelash, you are going to sell weave, like make sure yours together. Like I cannot stand to see somebody selling weave or like wigs and theirs is not together. Like you
Mm-hmm.
cannot sell me something and your stuff is not together. And I
Mm-hmm.
support black businesses. I love it. I love females in business. I really love black females in business. It's important because I feel like a lot of times you don't see it all the time, or you see a lot of kind of jealousy being kind of thrown in the air, and of course the negative is always in the spotlight. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's very important to touch on that. But just from a business standpoint, like sales, I mean the internet is taking over. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to be prepared for that. And I feel like, nowadays, like all the different websites, like I created my own website. I'm very proud of that. I was able to save a couple $1,000s from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out. But I did pay and support other graphic designers and things like that. But I feel like it's very important to be on social media, especially with your business and yourself, but carry yourself with respect and sense because once you put it out there, like the likelihood of you getting it back is slim to none, especially if it's something where someone could say something bad about you or put your business.
You still use Snapchat?
Yeah, honestly, it's hard for me to be on a lot of social medias. I'm in grad school. That's pretty present right now. But other than that, I just kind of pop in and out. I'm really on Instagram a lot more though now. It's funny you say that. Then Snapchat. I just like some of the features I learned how to use. I feel old saying that, but like, my friends had showed me some real cool stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I just been using Instagram, and we also, use Instagram to hold ourselves accountable, especially with working out. You can check in with people, tag
Yeah.
people, and I started taking the stairs at work, so I posted on Instagram because I know if I don't, someone's gonna write me and be like, "You didn't take the stairs today," so because it's happened before.
True.
So I feel like it's
I'm
accountability
used to
and
seeing
stuff
that too,
like
by the way.
that.
But it's funny though because that was a game changer for Instagram though, the story feature.
Oh yeah.
Because I have my days like today. I posted a lot in my story. Just thinking about like you have the story because like people don't really post like on the feed unless like it's something absolutely important. You know what I mean? Because when you put something in the story, it's like okay, boom, boom, look, quick look, boom. Post something on the feed, it's like oh, this it deserves a caption. This picture is says more than what meets the eye. It's not just a quick hey, check this out, boom, okay, next. Versus this is kind of it makes me think about like the wedding I went to over the weekend, and I put the picture up, and it has significance versus something I would have put in the story.
Right.
So yeah, then that's just some of the one of the many things I think about with Instagram and maybe Facebook. Honestly, I look at Facebook. It's like, oh, whatever. I don't know about you, but I know like me and my girl, we use Facebook. We just get on and we just looking for memes all day. So we be
They going
sharing
crazy
memes.
with them right now.
Yeah, it's like it's funny. I saw this GIF. That's blowing up on Facebook too. Funny enough. But I saw this GIF. It was like it was Tom from Tom and Jerry, and like he's flipping through a book, and it's like the caption in the GIF is like me when I log on Facebook, and like he's just flipping through the book and just laughing out loud, and I'm like, yo, that be me, man, when I'm at work or when I be chilling or something, and I be just scrolling through my timeline. Early in the week, I was on Facebook, and I'm just scrolling through my timeline looking for memes or looking at memes. I was like, dang, man, Facebook is on today, man. Y'all got the good memes going, like how people be when the playlist be going and playing all the hits. Like, yo, y'all playing all the hits. Y'all got all the dark. Oh, y'all got the good memes today, man. Facebook is on. Like it's on. It's hot. Like so. Yeah. So yeah,
That's so
just
crazy.
yeah. But it's crazy how we just we get in the habit of using these things for these different reasons, and at the end of the day though, we all created a system, 'cause I think it's cool too. I'm sure we've all done it. We show our parents something and they like, yo, what's going on here? Who is this?
Right.
What's funny about this meme? Like what me? Like no, it's a meme.
Right.
But
First thing.
right. But amongst us, primarily millennials, like we get what's going on. You share a meme and you get the message behind the meme. It's almost like a secret form of communication. Like we all know what's going. We all in on a know. We see a meme. You go around a group of old heads and you got somebody around our age and you share a meme. It's like they left out. They don't. It's like they left out. It's like, yo, what's going on here? So it's those little things I often think about with social media that always just make me say like, wow, man, it's just crazy how, again, so much has changed and how we're utilizing it in multiple different ways and whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to take and talk about that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and ask Brittany a few questions. Just want to let the listeners get to learn more about you, your
Absolutely.
business, and all the different things you have your hands in. So, my first question, I know you kind of touched on this too earlier, but what all do you have your hands in so far?
So right now, I'm actually over. I own two businesses. I recently just started Sweet Honey Customs, which is just a custom T-shirt business, personalized T-shirts, originals from our collection, as well as just kind of like sweatsuits. We got a lot of fall pieces coming. Want to wait on that. But I'll definitely be dropping hints soon on what's coming. But that's just, I mean, cups, glasses, your typical, you need something made or personalized type of deal. Now, Be Lashed is my baby. Wow. I just can't even believe it's been a year. Like this just started off as an idea. As far as, my business, I kind of wait to touch on that and the whys behind it. I'm also in grad school pursuing my MBA. So that's been interesting. It seems like I just kind of said like, hey, I'm gonna go to grad school, and then 2 weeks later I was enrolled and I just registered for my third semester, so I'm actually halfway done. It's crazy. So that's been going on. I'm in a happy relationship. That's new. But other than that, I mean, everything's just been going really good right now. Just focusing on expanding, get things going on at work and my career. So I'm using that to invest in myself. And just, kind of looking to see what's next as far as projects. I feel like I don't ever want to have my hands too full because sometimes things come up. I'm also helping other people pursue their dreams as well because I feel like when you give, you receive. I mean, it's just, full circle round. So just
Right.
passing on my knowledge, I'm going to school, I'm paying to learn it. So if someone else trusts me enough to ask me what I'm doing, then I'm going to pass on that knowledge as well.
Spoken like a true Capricorn. Uh, so definitely one of my highly anticipated questions. How did B Lash come to be?
So, plot twist. Funny thing, when I first even thought about being a quote unquote business owner, my idea was you got to find something that you can sell to make money because you pay too much money back when it's tax time, right? So it was basically, I talked to my tax guy. He's like, you can have a baby, claim a dependent, or, you could start your own business, or you can go back to school. And it's up to you. You got a couple different options. He said, I'm really gonna hope you're not gonna choose one. Like, yep, we could go ahead and knock one of those out right now.
Right.
And so I
With
was
the
like,
quickness.
right, quick, some in the water. So we just gonna really get that out the way. I was like, okay, so what am I good at? What can I sell? Like, I was thinking about making something, or, I was like, what do people want that not enough people are selling? So I was like, okay, I don't really want to do weave. Everybody's doing that, right? Everybody was selling bundles. And it's just so funny because people would just go on like for example, there's a website, AliExpress. You can go on there and buy hair, and that's what people were doing. So it's like they're going on there buying hair. It takes like longer time because usually it comes from China and stuff like that, but it's cheap. So if you're going somewhere, you can go on there, order it. You have a couple weeks before it comes. However, if you have money, then you could go ahead and order a lot at one time, and then you charge more because you got it on hand, or you charge more because you got it at a discounted rate because maybe you bought 100 packs of hair versus one. See what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I felt like I knew I didn't want to do that. That was no, like everybody was doing that. And I mean, I just felt like my hair was kind of decent. It was always nice, but I was just kind of, I just paid a lot of money for my bundles and just tried to make sure, it didn't look like I had a wig on or a wig in weave in my hair.
Right.
Um, and so I was like, why would people want to buy that from me? Like, what am I doing that would make them want to buy that from me? And so during this time, I really didn't take it serious. This was like the beginning of, I would say, end of 2017. I had just moved to Florida that August, and it kind of became an idea. So during this time, I was really getting into makeup. I was a manager at Enterprise. We had to dress up for work. Like every day was business casual. Of course, I wanted to do my makeup because you just can't. To me, it looks weird when like girls are in blazers and like dressed up and they don't have on anything on their face. Like at least just have a little something. Like you're dressed up nice. Just have a whole package type of thing. That's how I think in my mind. And so I just would start getting up early and doing my makeup. And every single day, if nothing else, I got complimented on my eyes. And so I would like make jokes with my sorority sisters. Shout out to the women of Alpha, Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Had to get that in there. Shout out to all the sororities. Listen, I'm really close with my line sister. I would talk to them about it and like we pour into each other constantly. And so we were talking, and I was like, I gotta do something like, and she actually does makeup. Her name is Micaiah Wilson. Shout out to Micaiah Trinae, makeup artistry, anybody. Pensacola Mobile, shout out all of that. She's the like best. Like she's so good. So for her to tell me you should do this, like you should really look into eyelashes, it was like more than a compliment. It was kind of like if Jay-Z told you to do music, I'm being a little extreme, but it was a real compliment. And so I just kind of started looking into it, and I would always order like from they had like different like eyelashes and stuff like that on AliExpress. I would always order different stuff and just try to look and see. And so I'm like, well, I already have some on hand. I wonder how people get vendors. So there will always be people selling vendors lists. And I would just always be like, okay. It's like my mind was going, but my feet weren't moving. So I was like,
Hmm.
well, what if you just went and bought a vendor list? And what if you just started buying some eyelashes and ventured out, got a name, got some business cards so that whenever someone asks you or said, "Hey, I like your eyelashes." Boom, give them a card. Talk to them. I've been in sales the last what probably 5 6 years. So I mean, I do this every day at work for somebody else's product. Why can't I do it for myself? And
Bingo.
so and so the name, the official name, Be Lashed. So I had decided I wanted to do eyelashes. I had bought a vendor list. I was doing everything. I still didn't have a name, still didn't have a date, still didn't have anything. I just knew I needed something. And I was like, the most money that I had owed in my life was 2017. And so I'm not ashamed to say it was $700, but who want to pay that? It's just like being single, making a lot of money. At the end of the day, like I was zero on zero. I don't know how taxes and all that works, but it just, worked out. So I'm like, okay, I know I gotta have something, but how am I gonna do it? And so we all met up. It was homecoming time. We met up, and it was just me and her. We had ran to get something to eat, and she was like, "So did you ever come up with the name?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "But you got all the stuff. Like, what do you mean you don't have a name?" I was like, "I don't have a name." She was like, "Well, I mean, like, what?" I was like, "I don't know. I kind of want my name, but I don't want it to be cheesy. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe Lash something." And she was just like, "Why not just be Lash?" And I was like, "I know you're gonna be Lash, but I'm saying like it's gonna be Lash something." Like, I wasn't hearing the be Lash, and so she was like, "No, be like to be Lash, but like."
Yeah.
Maybe a bee, like maybe a bumblebee, like the queen bee, because you're the queen bee and you're Brittany. And like she just started putting this together, and I was like, "Be Lash. Oh my gosh, like that's perfect." So we laughed, all of that,
Yeah.
came up with the name, the logo. I went to school with a guy named Justin Walker. He's a great graphic designer. Like I said before, I love supporting Black owned businesses, small businesses. I love that. So he, I always see his artwork. It's hand designed. He created the beat. I literally told him what I wanted, and he drew it out. And then I chose the type of beat I wanted. He put the lashes on it. Like he did the colors. I love my sorority, and my license gave me my name, so I knew I wanted a little pink and green in there, but I didn't want it to be just overwhelming. I mean, he just did like the small little things that just really brought it together, like the name and then like the shoes on the B. I mean, there was just so
Hmm.
much detail, and then of course he did whatever he needs to do on the computer to actually make it a logo. And so once I got the logo, it was like I just started putting everything together, and so I also am a firm believer in self taught. So it's just like anything I can teach myself, I'm going to do it. Anything I can teach someone else, I'm going to do it. Now, it is some stuff that you have to pay or maybe spend a little bit more time to do, but it's not impossible to do. So I started teaching myself how to do my business cards, my packaging. I was looking on YouTube. I was just following other people, seeing what they were doing. And so it was like I was starting to cut costs because I needed to be able to buy more inventory because I was getting so much support. Like my first goal for the whole year was to make $500. That's it. I just said I just want to make $500. That's probably pretty low, but that was my tier that I put for myself because this was for me and my taxes. It wasn't about me making income and profit. It was just I needed something to be able to put down that I was doing. And so within the first 3 months, I passed that goal and I didn't have sales going on. It was just people constantly supporting me, supporting me, supporting me. And so I had apparel for people who didn't wear some eyelashes. And so that was, support. But I cut that cost too because, I was paying someone else to make my t shirts. So when I got my first, big commission check at work, I invested in myself and said, why pay somebody else when I could do it? And people always want shirts. They always want stuff. Everybody wants stuff. Like when you travel, shot glasses or souvenirs. Like everybody's getting stuff personalized. So then I cut that cost. And then I was like, well, what can I add? So I added sunglasses. I added just the perfect look to where I wake up. It's a minimal look and I feel like the baddest chick in the world. So eyelashes, eyeliner, little brow pencil, and some sunglasses. You got a good day. You got a great day after that.
Hmm.
So it's just like the small little steps of expansion. And one good thing about the sunglasses is, of course, bulk orders. And sunglasses, they don't there I have a case to store them. Like people still wear them in the fall. People start looking again in spring, of course, summer. So it's good to have them on hand, especially traveling. Like people are always last minute looking for stuff versus the store, it can be seasonal. So just thinking about those smaller aspects is kind of really what all tied it together. And the great thing about Sweet Honey Custom, which is like still the bee theme, because I wanted to keep it as like the bee is working. It's literally I'm able to do everything for myself for my business that I don't have to order. So that I can eventually get to the point where if I don't want to work or I can't work for a while, I still have income coming in. Because people are constantly wanting t-shirts. Like I'm self-taught, so I'm teaching myself and I've been able to experiment, but it's not rocket science. So it's like people will be like, oh, I need this or I need that because I'm new. I don't have, minimum. So I'm just if you need it, I'm gonna do it. So it's just working out on both ends, like really good.
So my last question, I guess, is owning a business something you always wanted to do, and why?
Yes. So when I was younger, my dream was to own my own law firm. I wanted to go to law school and I was gonna own my own law firm. Right. I wanted to be the boss. When I grew and started to understand really just life and how things work as far as being a leader versus a boss, and why it's important to own things, it kind of became different for me. Um, and so that's what made me really focus on the ownership behind it, more goals and like internal things. So let me explain that. With ownership comes more things. Like it's important to own something, whether it's a house, a car. I mean anything. Like I want to leave something to my kids, like I want to be able when I get married or have kids, if I can't go back to work or work, like I want to be able to make my own money. And it's important to have multiple streams of income. So I would say that's where my vision kind of shifted versus the reason why I wanted it versus realizing why it's important. And then just kind of, to expand off of that, just the benefits. I mean, of course, taxes, the deductions that you can claim, but
Right.
also like the feeling like I really love making people feel good about themselves. Like I really love like, one of my friends, Brittany, her name's Brittany as well. She, we were talking the other day and she's like, these are the same lashes that I bought from you like months ago. She was like, I promise you I've worn them more than 10 times. And that's what the vendors say. They'll say 15 to 25 for certain times or, just different stuff. So like hearing that feedback, getting reviews or, people buy sunglasses and they record, like, and my name's like, we got the boss shades. When you put them on, you feel like a boss, like confidence is everything. And that's what I feel like the joy of like being a business owner is, like, or even my friend, I made her shirt, like a rapper that she's supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, it's just like the small things. Like he found my page and wrote me like, this is so dope, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he's kind of like a upcoming rapper, but he's not anyone like just super big, but in their city he is. But it was just dope, like the appreciation. So I feel like that's what's kind of made it all worth it. And then just something to keep me going because since I'm running my own businesses and even at work to a certain extent, being a business developer, you're constantly reaching out to business owners. So it's like being able to relate that to school too has made me appreciate so much more for when I go into my next career venture because I'm always trying to like figure out what's next. And that's something that me and my boyfriend talk about all the time is not being complacent. Like even though like he has a good job, but he's okay, I want something else, or I want to keep doing, or I want to look, or I want to do something. Like that's one thing is time. Like right now, life is so short. Like you don't know how much time you have. So that's what I'm focusing on is just figuring out what all I can do while I'm here and preparing for the people who are coming behind me or whatever I leave behind, like my nephew, my sister, kids, husband, all that stuff is kind of what becomes more important as you get older.
Right. Well, hey, I definitely want the listeners to be able to, keep tabs on everything you got going on. So, if you could, tell them where they can find you on social media, your website, all that kind of cool stuff.
Absolutely. So we're gonna start with the website. Go check it out if you haven't already. belashedorders.com. So just like the name BEELASHEDORDERS. So just belashedorders.com. Check it out. There is some stuff that is sold out, and that's just because I have some really cool stuff coming up for the anniversary sale. I really want to show my appreciation for you guys, so make sure you check it out. And social media, Be Lashed, but with two D's. So BEELASHEDD. And then Sweet Honey Customs. So just check us out on all platforms. Well, Instagram actually and Facebook. We're just gonna not all platforms. I misspoke. Sorry. Facebook, Be Lash. So yeah, check us out, follow us, shop with us, tag us for a feature, all that good stuff.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the SANE Show, the show about nothing, everything. It has definitely been a pleasure. It's always
Yes,
great
thank you for
talking to you
having me.
too. You guys heard her. Make sure you guys go and check out her website. Make sure you go and follow her on the gram and Facebook. You can always rewind too if you didn't catch it. That's a beautiful thing about having recordings. So make sure you
Right.
go check her out and order something and support her business. Black owned business, always got to support them. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you, Brittany, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Again, it's definitely an honor, and it's always great talking to you, whether it's on the SANE Show or outside just hanging out.
Yes.
And for everybody else listening, appreciate you guys listening. Everybody all over the world, all the people continuing to subscribe, whether you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, from the US to the UK to Canada to India to all the countries in Africa, South America, Asia. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it for you guys to continue to show your love and support for the SANE Show. And that's it for the SANE Show. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the SANE_show. That's SANE, SANE_show. And check us out on Facebook, the SANE Show. Again, on Facebook, the SANE Show. And with that being said, this is the SANE Show, episode 40. 40 episodes in. Wow, it's crazy. Almost to 50.
Wow. I feel
Episode 40 of the
special.
SANE Show. Right.
Wow.
And until next time, we're out.